Today I learned a new word. I don't know if this word came up in, the offices of economists or where it came from. I don't know if it's in the dictionary, but Trumponomics is a new word, and we will be talking about Trumponomics on EconoChat Let's Talk Business with Mr. Daniel Steinman today. A warm welcome to our listeners, and of course a special warm welcome to Mr. Daniel Steinman himself. I'm Elsa Wittiwingen and I'm your hostess, and we will have an interesting talk in regards to what has been happening. Trump has stirred up a lot of things. He is making the world go crazy. We don't know where we're going. We don't know how Africa will be doing, and specifically we don't know how Namibia will be doing.
That is what I want to talk about. Elsabe, you are very right in stating that he has really upended the world.
Yeah.
He's stirred a lot, and if you just look at the basic maths, if what is done remember, he's going to be in office for just over 200 weeks.
Yes.
So if you sort of calculate what he's done in 2 weeks, can you imagine what he's going to do in 200 weeks?
Yeah.
But a lot of it is hype. I think we've seen from his style that, and this is my personal observation, I didn't read this anywhere, it's not somebody else's observation. I mean, you don't need to be there, you just look at a video on YouTube, or you just follow the big American channels, and you see everything that you want to see, because government life in the United States is very much a public affair.
Yeah.
It's in the face of the man in the street. Whether you want it to hear it or not, it's there. So the point is, he has a certain style, and that style was, I would call it, rudimentary in his first term, but it was still there. Some people would like to use the word belligerent. He's very much in your face. He's not refined, not very much finesse. He's a pain to the Democrats. But he's a straight talker. And this morning I sat in a conference where somebody made a very positive assessment of Mr. Trump. And I said, "Hurrah! At least there's one other person in Namibia who's looking past all the fluff and the hype, and looking at what will the achievements of his second administration be." And the terminology Trumponomics is not my terminology. It's used in America by the camps who don't like him.
Yeah.
They talk about, especially if you look at economic reports and analysis on the implications of what is said, they're very fond of talking about Trumponomics in a derogatory way. This is going to ruin America, which I believe it is not. But one thing that you have to keep in mind is that whatever happens in the next month or so, at this stage where we are now, it is all speculative, for a very simple reason, in the sense that it's not been done before, or where you see similar aggressive actions, it stems from 1934. I mean, 1934 is just a few years after my dad was born, so it's generations past. And there are very few people who can remember what happened in 1934. And even in the popular sources on the internet, you have to go dig to find out, or to find reliable information on what exactly happened in 1934. And that's 1 year after the Great Recession. And then it was necessary to do a complete overhaul of the world financial system. That was also the moving away from the gold standard didn't happen in 1934, but it set the stage for that very radical move to happen later. And now is the question you need to ask. No, before we ask the question, let me state one more thing, and that is that Mr. Trump is busy with an overhaul. He is reinventing the American economy. I think from his perspective, he thinks he is reinventing American society. But as I have explained to you in past talks, the American population is very strongly divided, half-half, very close to the 50-50 split. It means that whatever you do from a societal point of view, whether it's health or education or aid or whatever, you actually only talk on behalf of half of the population.
Yeah.
There's no talk in the United States of huge majorities. It simply doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And the facts from the election confirm this. But, and this is what I want to move over to in the second part of our talk, for us in Africa, there's only one thing. Only one thing. He can do what he wants with American society, with whoever follows him or opposes him. To us, that's irrelevant. One thing: interest rates in America.
Yes.
Not long-term interest rates. That is determined by the market. 10-year and longer interest, 10-year and longer-term interest rates. What so-called policy rates. The rate, the short-term rate, decided by the Federal Reserve. And there is, can I translate the expression? There's still a lot of water to run to the sea before we get to that point. But that is the variable that we have to watch.
Okay, so when we come back after the short break, we will be talking about the interest rate impact on Africa.